All these TV evangelists are actors. That is why they are on TV. And most of them are Jewish. All they want is your money. Then they want your soul. Money you need to live on this earth to pay your bills. They don't care if you eat Roman noodles while they eat steak. They say, look at me. I have cars and a nice house, and use Christ to get all the money they can get out of you. This is another Jesus that the KJV warned you about. 2 Corinthians 11:3 and 4. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtleties, so your mind should be corrupt from the simplicity that is in Christ. For if he that cometh preaches another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if you receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might as well bear with him. The serpent is a sly devil, and that is the way he puts himself in your heart. Subtlety is not a word that you can explain from the internet. They want to bewitch you, cast a spell on you. Galatians 3:1. O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you. This only would I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the word of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Are ye so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, are ye now made perfect by the flesh? Have you suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? TV evangelists are witches. They cast spells on you. And it is a slow process, which means a series of acts or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. You see, most of these false prophets are adulterous. Jeremiah 23:10 through 13. For the land is full of adulteress. For because of the swearing the land moaneth. The pleasant place of the wilderness are dried up, and their curse is evil, and their force is not right. For both prophet and priest are profane. Yea, in my house have I found their wickedness, saith the Lord. Wherefore their way shall be unto them as slippery waves in the darkness. They shall be driven on, and fall therein. For I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. And I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesy in Baal, and cause my people Israel to err. The Israelites serve Baal, or if you don't know, they have more than one God, with a small g. They say they are Jews, but are not. Revelations 2:8-9. And unto the angel of the church of Samaria write, These things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works, and thy tribulation and poverty. But thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. This is the American televangelist. So let's look at the mark in a different way. You know, 666? Revelations 13:15 through 18. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. Small. Look at these children. Look at this child. They are teaching their children to blaspheme against God. They are sending these to hell. Matthew 12:30 and 31. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto man, but the blasphemy against the Holy Ghost shall not be forgiven unto men. I would say there is more evil in their homes than you can shake a stick at. The love of money will lead you to evil. 1 Timothy 6 and 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. You see, the love of it makes you err from the faith. You cannot have both. Sorrow is in their heart, and they want to give it to you. They want you to be slain in the spirit. Slain is a slay, which is killed, and in violent way. So when you go to these people, they will kill your spirit, or slaughter, massacre you, liquidate you to the hell they are destined to go. Isaiah 13 and 10. For the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Stars are actors. Heaven is having the riches or being in a high place. The constellation is a group of people or a heavenly host. Not giving light is no more of their witchcraft. The sun is Apollo, the one who drives the sun chariot across the sky each day. Allah is the moon god. All these people are con artists to scam you. They use the word money for seed. I would like them to plant some of their money in my backyard so I can water it to make it grow. It would not last the first harvest. Too many bills. As far as tithes, they want you to pay tithes, but who do they pay tithes to? Not to help the poor or the widows. What is the Lord's tithes? Leviticus 27:30 through 34. And all the tithes of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord's. It is holy unto the Lord. And if a man will at all redeem aught of his tithes, he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof. And concerning the tithes of the herd or of the flock, even of whatsoever passes under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Lord. He shall not stretch whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it. And if he change it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments which the Lord commanded Moses for the children of Israel in Mount Sinai. You see a change on words? Stuff Creator God made. Man made factitious money. not what Creator God has made. Now, when Christ went to the cross is when this stopped. Now, it is just an offering if you choose to do so. Colossians 2:13 through 15. And you, being dead in your sins, and the uncircumcised of your flesh, hath he quickened together with him, having forgiven you all trespasses, blotting out the handwriting of the ordinance that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to the cross. And having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a show of them openly, triumphant over them in it. They don't use the real word of Creator God, the KJV. These people are fools. Proverbs 18:7. A fool's mouth is in his destruction, and his lips are the snares of his soul. They use the word Christian to deceive you. So let's go to 2 Timothy. We want 3:2 through 5. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blaspheming, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, trace-bearers, false accusers, inconsiderate, theorists, despisers of those that are good, tellers, headly, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. You think it is Christ, but it is to line their pockets, and it will bring the USA down. This is the reason I don't like the word Christian. You cannot get your spirit or food from a liar. It will be Satan feeding you, not the Creator God. You will be on a bench in the heat and the cold, and they will be in comfort. They don't believe in Creator God, but use His name. Psalms 14:1. The fool saith in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. You can see the evil in them. You can know them by their seed. Matthew 7:16 through 20. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorn, or figs of thistle? Even so every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bringeth forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruit ye shall know them. Mocking the one who made them, mocking the one that loved them, mocking the one that died for them. Galatians 6:7 through 9. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teaches in all good things. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of his flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not. This is just as bad as abortion, gays, porn, etc. If you see the world today, the people are turning to witchcraft. Why? Because these people have made Christ look bad. Obama is backing them. They think they can make it to heaven, and they can't. Matthew 7:21 through 23. Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that worketh iniquity. Billy Graham, when he became big, Ted Turner and Paul Crouch and Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, PTL Club, said to puff him up. This meant to make him big, and look at him now. This was on TBS years ago, and now it is TBN. Billy Graham, the greatest preacher the world declares. Paul, the greatest preacher ever was, hated by the world. Tammy Faye Baker used tears to get your money. The pink-haired lady, I do not remember her name, but that is Paul Crouch. And she said, go to your little cookie jar and give us your food money, and God will bless you. God does not bless ignorance. Christ did not live the way these people live. Luke 9:57 and 58. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I will follow thee wheresoever thou goest. And Jesus said unto him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. You can see signs or images of the true God if you know what they are. Whatever show you see on your TV, remember, it is just a program to program your mind control. They want you to go in debt with your credit card. They are communists, and communists wants to control you and your money and your mind. Money and sorrow is the thorns and the thistles that you don't need in your life. So beware of the wrath this will bring. Revelations 22:10 through 15. And he said unto me, Seal not the sayings of this prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may be right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gate into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and adulterers, and whatsoever loveth and maketh a lie.
The largest exhibition centre in London. It's used for the boat and motor shows, and it even hosted the London G20 summit in 2009. And this place is big. But every so often, the building is used for events that don't make the papers. It's a regular touring spot for this guy, Benny Hinn, a controversial televangelist. Now, I'd heard a lot about this charismatic man, so I went along to one of his events to see for myself. I was prevented from filming there. I narrowly avoided getting kicked out, but I did get to see what he's most known for, which is something he calls slaying in the spirit, where people are worked up into a frenzy until they're so overcome that they're unable to stand and they fall to the floor.
When I say 3, you say fire. 1, 2, 3.
Now, you can't see the numbers here, but there were 8,000 people in that audience. So watching a crowd of that size simultaneously collapse was a pretty amazing spectacle. But it wasn't the thing that most struck me about the day that I spent there. What doesn't get shown on the Benny Hinn and even the other televangelists' in-house video productions is the pressure on crowds to donate and keep the roadshow going. The people that go to these events are told that if they donate money to the church, that they should look on it as a kind of investment. And I really mean this extremely explicitly. One of the guys who was there on the day that I turned up told everybody in the audience who was having money problems, and specifically said if you're behind on your mortgage, if your credit card bill is high, if you're behind on your rent, he told these people to stand up and that God was going to do something for them called supernatural debt cancellation. He said to them that if they donated money, and it would have to be a significant amount of money, then God would intervene in their financial life and solve their debt problems. And he gave examples. He said one woman last week gave £5,000. The next week she was delivered from debt. So it's really positioned as a sort of financial investment. It's quite frightening to sit in a room and hear a very well-off, covered in jewellery, $1,000 suit American preacher tell some of the poorest people in London that if they give him quite a substantial amount of money, £5,000 was the example he gave, then God would return it with interest and wipe out their debts. Now, to a lap CFE boy like myself, that sounds like the opposite of how Christian charity is supposed to work. The really sad thing is, if you look around the audience, you don't see any evidence of this wealth and happiness that the ministry promises. Rather, you see a lot of poor, troubled people on society's margins, the kind of people who are desperate enough to believe that putting money in the Benny Hinn pot is a better bet than paying down their rent arrears. It was a pretty sad state of affairs. I ended up blogging my experience, and that led to getting in contact a few months later from a girl called Nadia. She sent me an email telling me how her family had been affected by belief in faith healers and prosperity gospel preachers like Benny Hinn. So we arranged to meet up.
My mum had a lump in her breast. What happened was they found out it wasn't cancerous. And because she'd been going to this church called UCKG around the same time, she put two and two together and said, because it wasn't cancerous, it means that prayer was working. I just remember things getting harder. I was in a private school and suddenly I couldn't afford clothes to go to a private school. I didn't have enough shoes and things like that. And I just remember things were getting harder. And my mum would, instead of paying bills, would watch God TV, I remember it was. And she would just watch it and then send off, I remember she sent off £1,000 check to, I think it was Benny Hinn. And because we were struggling with the school fees at the time, she thought that I can't pay the school fees, so I'll give £1,000 because they said they'll give me 100 times more.
So she thought if I send £1,000 to these people, I'll get £100,000 back.
Yeah.
And I can use that money to pay the school fees.
Yes, that is her logic even to this day, and that's what they tell you. They say, all you have to do is give a little here, and then it doesn't matter because it's like you're making an investment. It's about making an investment. You're investing in the stock market of God or something. And that way, you just put a little in and you get so much more and it's worth it. So all through that, she's just thought, I'll give a bit here and then it'll pay off. Instead of thinking that money, I could pay a bill now and it will help deal with the problems right now. I remember there was this guy, Creflo Dollar, he said something about when you give seed, so when you give money, it's like the title deed for a house. It's like deed to a house. So you might not see the house now, but you have that proof, that seed that you gave, or the Bible that you gave. And so all you have to do is just wait for it to come. My mum's way of paying the mortgage payment was giving all the money she had, 10% of it, to various ministries every month, instead of paying certain bills. And it just kept tallying up, and the mortgage company went against proceedings, and then they just took the house. We left everything in the house on the day that was supposed to, because my mum said, don't worry, God won't let this house be repossessed. And she would say, I swear it, I promise you it won't be repossessed.
And is that because she'd been sending the money? She said, well, I've sent this money faithfully and I've done what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So where's the other, there should be the other side of the deal.
They tell you that God doesn't lie. That's what they say to you. They say to you, look at my life. Yeah, you can see, the televangelists will say, look at my life. I have cars. I have houses. If I have this, you can have this.
The promised cars and houses never materialised. With no house, little money, Nadia and her mother moved through a series of temporary places to stay until they ended up here at this London hotel.
What happened was we had, I think, £50 enough for a single room. So we went in there and there was a nice lady and we said, we don't have any money, we have £50, we can't get a double room. And then she goes, okay, just go in there, just make sure that the cleaner or the managers don't see you. So we shared a single bed. I remember we ate in McDonald's, one burger was what we had the whole day. And I remember there was this guy actually sitting next to me, and I had this copy of Great Expectations. It was like one of those recycled ones or something. And I remember I was reading it and he was saying, why are you reading Great Expectations in McDonald's? I just thought, it's kind of weird that I'm reading this here. I'm supposed to be intellectual or whatever, and I'm homeless. There were some times where I just thought, this is complete nonsense. There's no way I can believe this. And then one day you'd sleep on the street, and then you'd think, okay, God help me, please help me. Then you'd kind of beg God and say, please. I remember I was right here, and I was just like crying, saying, God, please help me, can you save me? And then just an idea came in my head saying, we'll walk over to a friend's house. And it's kind of that thing, when you believe in God or something, then you kind of get this, I got kind of a strength, so I guess I got more religious as I went on. But I think I was just religious and believing it because it was the only thing I could hold on to. It's weird to say that, but it's good to be back here. I can look at it and as in the past, not something painful anymore, but it's just something in the past and just a part of me.
So you were how old?
I was 17.
So you were 17?
Yeah.
You rightly should have been at school doing your A-levels.
Yeah.
And instead?
I was sleeping on the street while, my friends were in school and nobody knew. And I just kept it a secret. And I was there with my mother. I slept in a photo booth. I slept in a restaurant sofa, on a restaurant sofa, and, I shouldn't have been here, but I was. And, it's part of my history.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Let's help the world change its stinking thinking to faith and grace.